Welcome, everybody, to the Eldest Daughter Diaries podcast. We're so glad you're back. So glad you're here with us. This is a community forward space where we, Kenesha and Crystal, two eldest daughters from different cultures and backgrounds, share our candid experience with what shaped us as eldest daughters, how we're doing with it, and how we're growing beyond it. There's been a lot of evolving and learning how to thrive. And so we're here to just share some of those stories, hopefully encourage you along the way, and just be honest about our experiences. We also are here to just remind you that just by being an eldest daughter in the world, you're literally changing the world. You can't help it. It's just how you be. It's what you are. So we get to gather together so that we can remind ourselves that we are not alone. We have each other, and we can be in community of other eldest daughters. Today's topic is people-pleasing. It's a big one. Yeah.
Yes. So before we get into this topic, we just want to give a quick brief warning that this topic can bring up a lot. If you're not in the headspace to explore it right now, you can always come back to it. We want you to be gentle with yourself, and we want to know that we are all going through these things as eldest daughters. So we are doing the best that we know how, and we want the same for you. Also, we are not therapists or counselors, and we are not here to give advice. We are just simply sharing our experiences, stories, and encouragement. And we encourage you to seek support if that is what you want to do, if that is called upon you, because it really does help reaching out to a professional licensed therapist, not ChatGPT, none of that. But we want you to definitely get some human connection from a licensed therapist. And we are here to encourage you to do that as well.
Yeah. Both of us have, in one way or another, sought out therapy around this topic. So just know that you're in good company if you're thinking about seeking that out, or if you're already doing that. High five. That takes a lot of courage, and it is very, very worth it to unpack this whole people-pleasing, deep conditioning. So what we thought we'd do is just kind of break down the basics of people-pleasing. It's something that's what I found in talking through with Kenesha about this episode is that it's so deeply familiar to me. I could riff on it in a heartbeat. But when it came down to like actually defining it and breaking it down into like its pieces, parts, I'm like, I don't know how to do that. So we used the dictionary. And it was,
of course, because that's still around, right?
Because there are dictionaries and thesauruses, just saying. They're very helpful.
Well.
Encyclopedias as well.
Doors anymore.
Right? Man, those are the good old days.
Yes.
What we found is, so according to Merriam-Webster, a people pleaser, and I'm curious when you hear this, do you resonate? A people pleaser is a person who has an emotional need to please others, often at the expense of his or her own needs or desires. Letting that one land.
Yeah, I definitely, the emotional need to please others, right there on the nose. Me being the eldest daughter, but also being a manifest generator, it's like I'm always called to help people. Like in the past, when I've like explained who I am and what I do, sometimes I'll say I have a heart to serve. And I really resonate with that because I do like helping people, but that last part, at the expense of his or her own needs. That's something that I had to kind of just grow out of, because I would give my last for people that wouldn't give my first or second to me. And I had to learn, not the hard way, but I just have to learn, like, I have to take care of myself. And sometimes I just have to step back and people will figure it out on their own.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the part that really threw me when I started to like unpack people pleasing and then the boundaries required to break out of people pleasing is that I didn't have any idea that there was any other way to be.
Mm.
I had
Well,
no
how
idea.
could you, right?
It's exactly. So I remember, yeah, when my therapist, God, I think back in like 2010, 2011, she was like, you know that you can say no, right? Like you can put boundaries in place. I'm like, what are boundaries? What?
Yes. What are these things?
Right? Like I was only familiar with severely enmeshed codependent relational dynamics.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no separation between me and the other person. So if they're
No.
up, I'm up. If they're down, I'm down. I was getting yanked around, right? And the
Yeah.
priority to put them first at any cost of myself was, when I woke up to it, was really shocking.
Yeah. Do you think during your time, when did you, because I heard you say your therapist, when did you find out those, like, that you can do, was it like in your 20s or 30s? Because I didn't find
Yeah.
out till I was in my 30s that
Oh,
I can
wow.
say,
Yeah.
yeah, I can say no.
Mine was like 25, 26. So I wasn't that, it was just
Yeah.
a few years before. But yeah, I was like definitely mid 20s, where we've talked about this, where my body was like really showing signs of the stress of this dynamic going
Mm-hmm.
on. So that's when I woke up to, I'm like, okay, well, nobody's going to fix this for me. I know that this is like a comfort zone that is extremely uncomfortable. I don't
Yeah,
like it here,
of
but
course.
I had to slowly build my way out of it.
Yeah.
And that's part of why we're taking this approach to this conversation of like breaking down the building blocks of
Mm-hmm.
what is it? How did we get here? Why does it
Yeah.
happen? And how do we take care of ourselves? Like what self-care practices do we employ to make sure that we stay in a healthy space?
Yeah.
So what was interesting when I did look up the definitions of people pleasing is I found this amazing article from psychcentral.com around people pleasing. And it was really interesting because there's this section about like, how do we experience it? Like, how do people pleasers experience people pleasing?
Yeah.
And there are these like 6 descriptors that they used, which I'm curious for you, like which of these resonate. And I'm curious like to go through it as well to see which ones resonate for me and we can talk about it.
Let's do
Um,
it.
yeah, one of them is, and we just talked about this, disregarding their own needs to please others. So we know that
Yeah.
part. That's kind of like people pleasing 101. We know that part.
Mm-hmm.
Have challenges distinguishing their likes, dislikes, and hobbies from others. So
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned that I really resonate
Yeah.
with. What's your experience of that one?
Um, Coming into my own, like I said, I didn't really learn until like my 30s. I think that's pretty much where I kind of learned how to, I won't say cut the cord, but I learned to kind of decipher like, I don't necessarily want to do this. Like, I want to do things that I like to do, kind of
Yeah,
deal. And it was like, if I didn't kind of go with the grain,
right.
like either you're disrespectful or you're being a rebel. It's like, no, I'm being myself. And we are all unique. And that's something that I definitely had to learn, like growing into myself. Like I'm a unique person. I don't do a lot of the things that my family does, the people that I used to hang with do. And some of the people, especially in college, some of the people that I was around were not really, I wouldn't say they weren't good people, but they weren't for me. And I was making it like I was forcing them to be for me. And after a while, it was kind of apparent like, okay, we are 2 different people. I'm gonna go my way, you go your way, kind of deal. So,
Yeah.
but I really didn't boggle down on that until like in my 30s. And that just took solitude, honestly.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's juicy. Yeah, that's really juicy. We could do a whole episode on that one. I would love to talk about loneliness versus solitude.
Yes,
I
yes.
feel like I went through a whole story arc around
Yeah.
learning how to enjoy my own company.
And I would say like what I would think I used to think that I was lonely, but I just wasn't enjoying who I was.
Yes, that part, right? I didn't like being alone with
Right.
myself. I
With
didn't know how
myself
to do that.
until I learned how to like work through who I am and what I like to do.
Yes, yes. So yeah, that brings back like distinguishing the likes, dislikes, and hobbies from others. So this brings to the next one: difficulty saying no, or they say yes to things they don't want to do.
Yeah.
What's so interesting about my reflections about like distinguishing likes, dislikes, part of the reason I wasn't able to do that well is because I didn't know how to say no. I, like saying no came at such a high price emotionally for
Hmm.
me, just the anxiety internally. But also, I mean, I lost a whole friend group from the root cause that I reflected on later of I didn't know how to disagree in that friend group. And it didn't feel safe to me to be in that friend group because there wasn't room to have differing opinions. So I'm like, what is this? We're just like parrots for each other. Sure, let's do that.
Yeah.
Let's do that. And then you
Yeah.
end up doing stuff. So you do things that you don't want to do. And then I would find myself so irritated inside and feeling trapped in these situations that I knew I didn't want to be in. And I didn't know how to get out.
Now, what would you call that? Would you call like that feeling your intuition letting you know something?
Sure. I think
Yeah.
intuition for me specifically is always an element in it.
Yeah.
There's always some intuition to it. But sometimes you just know in the beginning,
Hmm.
like when somebody asks you something, like whether you're into it or not.
Like, no.
But I would end up going along with stuff that I just was
Yeah.
not into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, when you would suggest things, would they do the same, or were they like, no, I'm good? Or to me,
Gosh.
like I've had
Yeah.
where, I want to do things and hang out and I have people flake on me. And so I had to learn to do things solo, which is a whole
Right.
nother episode, to where I feel comfortable doing things on my own that I wanted to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I relate with that. I couldn't even tell you. I can't even remember
Yeah.
like whether people would be into it or not. I just remember this like feeling somatically in my body of this
That,
like tension inside of not being able to say no at the gate, but also not being able to like remove myself, extract myself when I needed
yeah.
to.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
for me, I've had instances like that as well. But instead of me holding on, like I would just really voice like anger. Like I became angry, sort
Yeah.
of. And I think that's part of what my anger came from in college. Think learning how to navigate through those moments of where like I don't want to do anything, or I say no to a situation. I had to learn like my no is a no. It's a complete sentence. Like it's
Truth.
not a well, maybe. Like I don't want you to kind of make me feel, because of course, you say no, people make you feel guilty, like, man, I did this for you, or yada yada. And it's like, I understand that you did that for me, but I still, this is my no. Like I really had to go through with Miss Doris, which is my old therapist, I would say.
Yeah.
Miss Doris, she definitely was like, no, no, it's a complete sentence, and stick to your no. And if they don't understand why, then that's on them. That's not on you to like. this it's not on me to explain. And I've
No.
learned to like stop over explaining myself, especially when I say I don't want to do something.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
have to. The no is
I'm
the
looking
no.
at the list. Sorry.
We're going. Go ahead.
No, no, please. I'm sorry. I cut you off. I was looking to the list as you were saying that of like over explaining and it's not even on this list, That's like one of the
It's
almost like
not.
it's one of the tentacles though that end up happening of like the downstream effects of effectively betraying yourself, betraying your truth.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, this is why I say like with clients, it's like it's worth it to speak up in the beginning and be in alignment with yourself, because there's honestly so much cleanup downstream than you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's also more incentive to just keep it straight with yourself and, honor your yes and your no.
Yes, I agree.
This is another one. Going to great lengths to be liked, avoid disagreements, and mitigate the feeling that they will be abandoned. Yeah, this I relate to because it's part of the not saying no. So if you don't say no, then I'll be liked and there won't be disagreements. I won't rock the boat. I won't cause issues by
Mm-hmm.
having a disparate opinion. And then, but the, real shadow part of that, the underneath of it is you're not wanting to be abandoned by these people because you have a differing opinion. And of course, that
Yeah.
goes all the way back to like attachment styles and, possible like childhood trauma and things like that, even like lineage patterns around that.
Yes. Yeah. Within the Black family, it's like the eldest daughter is always or mostly the black sheep of the family, or the one who is more called to be successful or getting things taken care of the household, And I'm just looking back at my experience in these households, because you have to remember, like, I have my mother's side and I have my father's side. Like, I grew up with my mother's family, but also, I resonate with my father's family a lot. I can tell the difference with them. Like, if I'm not able to come to something or do something for them being like this side of the family, they're okay. They're more understanding. Remember, I'm Black on both sides. So, and on my mom's is more like, oh man, you should come on, man. We need to get the family back together. But you know why we need to get the family back together? Because those people, those matriarchs and patriarchs that were in the family, keeping the family together, are no longer here. Once Big Mama or your grandmother, of the head hall of the house, the one that's keeping everyone together, once they pass, everybody goes their own way. I really feel like it's a grieving mechanism, um, where we all just kind of split out. Now I look people are in situations, events, and it's like, okay, if you don't come, it's a problem, or if you do come, it's a problem. So in my instance, that what I've dealt with the past couple months, I just do what I need to do for myself. And if I don't show up, then that's fine. Y'all have something to talk about. If I do show up, that's fine. Y'all have something to talk about.
Ain't it the truth?
Either way. So
You might as well honor you.
I always say you might as well do what you want, because they're gonna talk regardless.
Truth, my God.
Sorry. I went there with that, did I?
Yes, you did. Mic drop. Thank you very much.
But it's true. Like,
It's so true.
I've
so
seen it
true.
happen so many times, and God bless my grandmother on my father's side is still alive. But I told my aunties, I can see it happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's interesting what you said about like a grieving mechanism.
yeah.
And especially when what I have found in going through my own version of that, of losing the matriarch, I find it really interesting that when there already aren't healthy communication styles happening or
Yeah.
any effort being put there, the heightened emotion of it all and then the contention over what happens post-death and things, it just exacerbates it all. Like everything that was underneath the surface, it just comes rushing to the
Yeah.
top layer. And then there's a lot that just kind of falls where it falls. And then there's choices along the way, whether you pick that up and do repair with different family members. But yeah, it gets really complicated and it's a real tragedy. This is where like indigenous societies and like pre-colonial,
Mm-hmm.
things like just the communal living of it all, like learning those skills along the way. And then also the presence of rituals, death
Yeah.
rituals,
Yeah.
familial rituals, like that all had a place for a reason. And here we
Yeah.
all are just literally just flying through with no support like that to make our
Yeah.
way.
Well, I think especially culturally with us, I don't know, like with our ceremonies,
Mm-hmm.
we have the funeral,
Yeah.
but I'm curious to ask this because like when my grandmother passed, my great grandmother passed, we all wore purple. That was her favorite color. My uncle passed, we wore blue. My auntie passed, we wore red. So I'm trying to, there's something there, right? There's something there that we are still holding on to as as we celebrate the life of someone who's passed. So I'm curious to know, do you think or have you experienced any of those kind of rituals no,
Yeah, not
within funeral
really.
ceremony?
It's taken a very like I don't know if this is.
We're getting off the road. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, no, no. I was just trying to pull words for it. Yeah, it's just kind of very vanilla, which I've always had an issue with, especially somebody that
Mm,
does align with sacred ritual as a
yeah.
beautiful way to connect with other people. But yeah, I find it very kind of just like bland and
Hmm.
sad when
Yeah.
it lacks the dimensionality of really, celebrating that person through song.
Yeah.
And I love the color, like color is such a powerful, and I'm
Yeah.
just thinking of like your whole family in that unifying color, like that sends a
Hmm.
message too, which is powerful as well.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. We did the same with my father, but that whole situation was a little different.
It's interesting, like, we're talking the people pleasing thing, but when I said it has tentacles, like it really does, it reaches to every
Uh,
part of our lives, especially with family dynamics, always with family dynamics, I say.
yes, yes.
There's one more that I want to mention, then we can keep going. There's one that says prone to experiencing other mental health conditions such as depression and anxiety. I'm curious if
Oh,
this resonates for you.
I think my people pleasing really brought in anxiety for me because if I don't do this for this person's not going to do XYZ.
Yeah.
You know, this person's, I have to make sure I'm on this person's good side because you don't want to burn any bridges, you know. And
Hmm.
me saying no is burning the bridge. The bridge was already burned.
Okay, we're not walking anywhere on that bridge.
We're not going any, we're going in the river,
We are
down
stuck.
we are stuck. So I really I commend my therapist again for kind of helping me with working through my anxiety, even depression. They have done a lot for other people beyond I needed. I extended myself, but when it's time for me to kind of celebrate or do something for me, it's not there. You don't have that love. So my depression came from people not showing up for me, but me showing up for everybody else. And
Mm-hmm.
so how did I get out of that? I had to show up for myself. I had to step back and say no. I don't have any children. I have my own place. I have my own job. I take care of my bills. Just because I don't have a plethora of jobs or plethora of kids doesn't mean that I have free money to just be giving everybody. If I give everybody my money, who am I lean on? Who am I calling on? You know? So I think I went a little deep into the depression, but I brought myself out of that from just kind of just honing into me, and I mean, even, experiencing fibroids, holding on to just wanting to make sure that I out here for everybody else, but who's here for me? Like
Yeah.
it's got to be some reciprocity in these relationships, whether you are big mama or you little cousin down the street. Like you got to have some reciprocation in these family dynamics, friend dynamics, work dynamics. Like because I mean, we're talking about people pleasing, like family, but that goes outside that realm.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
Yes. It really
yeah,
reaches everywhere. I mean, if you think of every lane of your life, and that's the pervasive part about it, is that
yeah,
it's everywhere. It's a way of being, it's a way of operating. And
exactly.
thank God it can change, the behavior itself, we can rework. And I mean, we're both
Hmm.
living proof of that.
Yes.
But yeah, the mental health conditions, it really just makes a lot of sense to me because even from an energetic standpoint, I had this like awareness come over me when it came to people pleasing and how I literally kept swallowing my truth. I
Oh.
kept swallowing my truth. And then I started gaining weight, right?
Mm,
And so like my body, it the energy of your yes or your no is not benign. It doesn't just disappear because you don't say
uh,
it. And I'm not
mm,
trying to cause like alarm or fear. I'm just saying that the energetics of not speaking your truth and constantly like when you were describing how folks not showing up for you, but you showing up for everybody, I saw this like scale just like bam slam to the ground, right, where it's just so heavy on your side, and because of all that effort it's so easy for everybody else because
right.
love you're pouring into them. But
Exactly.
it's our job to bring that back into balance and letting that truth go. That's why we'll get to it, but one of my greatest self-care practices around people pleasing is speaking up. Say the
Yes.
thing,
Say
speak
the
it
thing.
out.
They may not like it, but get it off your shoulders. Get it off your chest.
Yes. And the spiritual lesson around that for me is that like my truth is valid, like my needs are valid. And it's not even
Mm-hmm.
like only spiritual, it's mental, emotional, it's all the levels. But like
All the
I am worth being met. I am worth being heard. Value you. You can value me. We both
mhm.
matter in this equation. Always, every single
Always.
time. There isn't an exception to that unless I make it really easy for you to disrespect my value that I bring.
But me telling you, it should be enough for you to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Because a
And
lot of times you don't know until you speak up and say something. People will
exactly.
run over you and a lot of people just kind of tunnel vision with what they have going on. They're not thinking Crystal has things going on. Yeah, unless
Yeah.
you speak up and say something, yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's going to continue. So that
Yeah.
no is speaking up, honestly.
Absolutely. Of course. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yes. Yeah. And the heartbreak around people pleasing for me is when
Mhm.
I realized, and it was my therapist at the time that helped me, where she was saying people pleasing is actually really selfish.
Mm,
And I'm like, what? What do you
mm-hmm.
mean? And she's like, well, you're showing up in a way to effectively manipulate a situation so that you feel safe inside of it. So not only are you sacrificing yourself, but you're not letting yourself be known in your relationships.
Say that.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I was not letting myself be known. And it took so many relationships dying
Yeah.
because I kept repeating this pattern only to feel at the very end betrayed by these people for not showing up for me, only
Mm,
to realize through like very humbling self-reflection that I was betraying myself from the start.
yes.
Ugh.
I love that. Think something when you were explaining this, something that really popped up with me was people come in your life for a season or was it a lesson or a blessing
Mhm.
for sure. And so you having those friendships die, they
Mhm.
probably were just for that season for you
Truth.
to grow out of your people pleasing.
Yes. And this is probably another topic for another day, but I wrote a blog article on this of like some friendships are meant to die.
Yeah.
They're meant to end for that very reason, because when they've run their course with the reason, the season, the lifetime, like the
Mm-hmm.
blessing that they brought you, it's served its purpose. You can let it go.
Exactly. Yes. And that's
Yeah.
something that I've learned to kind of do is just kind of let go
Yeah.
of things that don't serve me and people.
Yeah. This is the cost of undoing one of them. The cost of undoing people pleasing is the loss of relationships that you were
Uh,
keeping around you that, just weren't quite locked in,
mm-hmm.
serving who you were. But the thing about it is, I look back on those relationships with a lot of love and care, actually. I think there was a time where I felt very hurt and I would look back and feel hurt and have bad feelings and thoughts towards them.
Yeah.
But I don't now. I don't. I can see how every single person loved me as good as as well as they could at that time, and I them. And then it had to end. And sometimes it was messy. Sometimes it was quiet. It just ended sometimes.
Yeah.
But I can really look back and just value them for what they brought into my life.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
And you saying that if Joe Smo, you see them on
Joe.
Streamliner.
Joe again.
Joe Smo on
God, it
on
had to be Joe. Yes. So if it was there, if it was purposeful and,
yeah.
interesting on a healing front or almost like Kismet bringing us together
Mm-hmm.
again, like absolutely I would entertain that, because through this healing around people pleasing, I've become really devoted to having uncomfortable conversations. So even if that
Mm,
means, owning my side of the street and the harm that I caused, because I know I did. I know I
yeah.
did. I know I did. We're all human. We all do.
We
It's
do.
okay. It's
Yeah,
okay. You
it is.
know? But yeah, I would definitely be open to that. And it's happened in the past for
Okay.
sure that folks have circled back around and we have like a clearing conversation. Sometimes we continue on, sometimes we just don't. And have the conversation and be done.
I'm still working on that, but God's
Okay.
still working on. Sometimes I try, but you know, I'm in the season to where I am not putting in a lot of effort if you're not. If Joe Smo come back around and want to reconnect, well, like you said, we need to have an uncomfortable conversation first, but also am I going to be trusting of whatever, whatever we go from there?
I feel like I need to clarify as well, because there are certain relationships I would not invest a single second additional into, period. Not entertaining it one bit.
Oh, I
They
got
can
a couple
message
of
me.
them too.
Absolutely. They can message
Yeah,
me and that shit will be deleted immediately. That's, and I do my
yeah.
cutting of the
Let
cords
them cord.
energetically
Yeah.
and move on. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Enough
And
said.
I love that you have the tools, because we shared those tools to kind of
We
cut them
do.
cords and let it. Yeah,
Yes.
I agree.
And maybe I can just impart a quick tool on that front, because this might be new language for folks listening. It may be
Yes.
something familiar, but the cutting of the cords is effectively, if you think about it energetically. So right now, Kanisha and I are chatting. Energetically, we're corded together. We are connecting. That's why when we're really vibing with each other, we can feel each other and
Mhm.
it's nice and flowy. Like there's something, flowing between us. When we part ways, I have a practice of cutting the cords. And what that does is it allows me to meet Kanisha the next time we talk with fresh presence, rather than who she was on the Friday morning recording episode, whatever, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's a way to stay current in my relationships. And so it's as simple as, in your mind's eye, envisioning like a cord going from your power center, so like right under your ribs, to the other
Mhm.
person. And then in your mind, you can like take a pair of scissors and cut it. You can even literally like wand your arms in front
That's
of
me.
you to like
Talking real.
cut it. Yeah, literally cut it. And then you kind of just like almost like scoop your energy back into you and, move on with your day. You just do that with like gratitude and care. And then you go have the next conversation. But it's a great practice if you ever want to do this, like at the end of the day before you go to bed. It's a great way to release the day. So try it
Especially
out.
if you like in multiple meetings or you're connecting with multiple people during the day, it's really helpful.
I do it at the grocery store, after phone calls, before phone calls, work, everywhere. Do it everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, try it out and see how you feel. It's pretty interesting when you start to reflect on it. So I want to we talked about doing kind of like, we can always call it like a rapid fire almost.
Hmm.
There's this list of traits for people pleasers. And I'm curious if you agree, like you experience that, or you disagree. And so we can go through each one and both of us can answer. We won't dive super into, we'll just kind of like get through the list and then we'll talk more
Yes,
about like where people pleasing actually comes from and why do we do this. Okay. So the first one is perfectionism.
I agree.
I agree as well.
Yeah.
Overachieving.
Same. Agree.
Oh my God. This painfully agree. Speaking of agreeing, agreeableness.
I agree.
God, we're so good at it.
Oh my God.
Conflict avoidant.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. Although I've made so many strides to getting
Hmm.
better at that. Self-sacrificing.
I agree.
We're both emphatically nodding. Having
Whew.
porous boundaries.
I totally agree.
I would actually disagree, because what
Really?
boundary? Because what boundaries?
The
I
poor
didn't.
one.
The ones with the gaping holes.
Yes.
So this is more like a reflection on the past, but yeah, there were no boundaries. Of course, now
Hmm.
there's gorgeous boundaries, but back then, mm-mm. Dependent, being dependent.
Being dependent, I disagree with that.
I would even say dependent, meaning also codependent
I
as
would
well.
I would definitely say codependent. I would agree with that. Yes. But not just dependent.
Yeah, the dependent in the most like foundational ways with like, parents. But yeah, that's where the self-sufficiency, I think, came in for both of us,
Hmm.
where we didn't have to depend on anybody because we couldn't really trust anybody to show up for us. Low self-esteem.
I disagree.
I agree.
You agree that people
Def-
pleasers have
I,
low
I'm
self-esteem?
just I'm just speaking from my experience. I'm just answering for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, if I'm talking about me, I would disagree. I would say, I wouldn't say low self-esteem, but I kind of would go with the similar to like codependent. Like you're looking, I guess that would be part of low self-esteem. You're looking for someone else to kind of boost your self-esteem, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two go together.
Yeah.
What about anxious?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Yeah, same.
I
I
can
agree as
agree.
well. Being helpful?
That'd be a whole nother conversation. What's the difference between helpful and being people pleasing? Because
Okay.
remember I said I have a heart to serve. So where do you draw the line from having a heart to serve to being a people pleaser?
Oh, yeah, juicy question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say overly helpful. I think my predisposition is always to be helpful, but where it became a detriment to me definitely falls under, I would agree, for people pleasing
Okay.
traits. And then, I mean, similar but adjacent, maybe friendly or being nice.
No, I
Yeah.
disagree.
I agree
Yeah.
because it would be kind of the facade of people pleasing, of not like being in a bad mood or not having anything negative to say. Like it's almost like a performance that I was really deep into. Woof.
I get it. And sometimes have those moments, when you're people pleasing, I mean, speaking from experience, like you do get a little grouchy
Mm-hmm.
because that energy is kind of being forced out of you. I think, yeah, the energy is kind of being forced out of you as like, I won't say negative, but yeah, pretty much like you're being negative. You're being a grouch because you're doing something for somebody else that you didn't really want to do, but now you're here.
I think it's also a symptom of your cup being so empty because you're pouring out into others and you're not doing, I wasn't doing anything to refill my cup. I didn't know I could.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
I'm glad we did that because it is interesting to hear our different experiences of some of those nuances. I do think
yeah,
people pleasing as an idea gets very like grouped and lumped together, but I love the opportunity to like parse it out between our different experiences because it does highlight like different defense mechanisms really that we've learned to rely on. Just find it
yeah.
really interesting.
Oh my
So,
God.
like when it comes to people pleasing, why do we do this? And that is the question of the ages. And the question that we've, done a lot in therapy. But some of I would say like a lot of the core of it is just around like environmental conditioning, whether it be familial, cultural, even religious conditioning, heteronormative conditioning, and also like attachment styles. That's a big one. Trauma responses.
For me, I think trauma response. I've been so independent. I really do not like saying that. Because I'm not. I'm independent by choice. I'll say that.
Hmm.
I've had to do a lot of things in my experience, do things for myself that maybe, you or another eldest daughter may not have. I've been working since I was 16, you know, and so that hyper independence comes from having to do so many different, wear so many hats. We talked last episode, me working, going to school, doing all these things. So me saying that the trauma response comes from not really having people to be there. And then when you get someone to be there, you don't want them to leave. You're keeping, that goes back to the attachment styles. You're keeping them happy, so they're here, But again, what are they doing for you? How are they
Mhm.
helping you be a better woman? How are they helping you grow? Yeah. Some of the questions I had to ask myself, whether it's within a relationship or a friendship, like how you're here for this person, how are they there for you?
Yep. Yeah.
How about what say you?
What say you, darling?
What say
The trauma response piece of this that really resonates for me is the nervous system response of fawning. So a lot of
mm,
people talk about fight, flight, what is it? Fight, flight, freeze. And then in recent years, there's been the addition of fawning, which effectively is the like appeasing of the aggressor, almost like talking them down in order to stabilize the situation.
yeah.
So like I see this a lot in like women. I was at a conference recently and this guy
hmm
with like very domineering energy just inserted himself like a freaking bowling ball in the middle of the glass shop and just like is so frustrating. And it was incredible to watch all their body language shift into fun. I was just like, it's so funny, like appeasing this person to like effectively stay safe. So, um, fawning for me and people pleasing go directly together. I feel like a lot of the behavior is so similar of
Yeah.
maybe being overly nice or laughing when
hmm
it's not funny or
Yeah.
engaging in conversation that I have absolutely no interest in being a part of.
hmm
Um, and that the example that I gave, it was actually a great growth moment to see how far I've come because, honey, I was not having it. I was not having that bullshit go on.
Period.
Like, I kept my back to him. Like, I continued the conversation because we were having such a good, engaged conversation with each other, learning from each other.
Yeah.
It was so interesting to see how far I've come.
Oh my gosh. I'm so proud of you because I probably would
Thanks.
have. Yeah.
Oh, I was not having it.
I really think we should do a attachment style episode one because I feel like that would really be interesting to have the conversation, I guess a people pleasing part two
Yeah.
into into attachment styles and how to find your attachment styles because I just got back into therapy this year and my therapist who's amazing, I'm not telling y'all her name,
Well
but
played.
yeah, she's amazing, but she's been giving me journal prompts and she gave me a site to kind of decipher what my attachment style is. So, I'm kind of still branching out like, yeah, that is people pleasing or, like I see where a lot of my relationships kind of conform to those attachment styles and I'm working through, you know, prioritizing what best works for me, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that definitely your attachment style plays a part in people pleasing.
Hugely so, I believe, for sure. So, something that we want to be doing each episode is to kind of like recap the topic through the lens of our blessings and maybe even sometimes the hardships. I feel like we really covered the hardships of the people pleasing already, but it would be
Yeah.
really cool to hear from you, Kanisha. Like, how have you healed people pleasing, and what are your practices around it to kind of keep you in that healthy space?
My main goal in this realm of my life is to take care of me. And so my thing is turning no's into yeses for myself. And what I mean by that is I may decline to go somewhere or not show up places, but I'm doing something for me. I'm going for a hike, getting out because I work from home. So I'm getting out and trying to meet other people or do things that I haven't done before. That's part of my whole invisible bucket list thing. But turning no's into yeses for myself because forget people pleasing. I'm pleasing me. Okay.
Yes.
Because I'm important just as okay.
Yes.
So, another thing I know that you said it earlier was speaking up if something is bothering you. Held so many things in. I think that's part of people pleasing as well, holding in your words to appease someone because they don't want to hear or you may be deemed disrespectful. But if it's on my mind, I am more susceptible to actually just saying like, hey, this is not me or this is something that I'm not cool with. Uh, so turning my nose into yeses for myself, declining invitations or places that I see fit as harmful for myself. Because
Yeah.
if I'm there, you're gonna talk about me. If I'm not there, you're gonna talk about me. So I might as well do what I want to do on that standpoint. Speaking up is something that's bothering me. I think that is good too.
Yeah, it's really powerful. I can see how these practices, like more than anything, just keep you in touch with you.
Yes. Yes. Because I mean, me, I'm about me. I'm not about everybody else.
Yeah, but like it's interesting because there's always like nuances here and there because I do know you as an incredibly caring, very generous, giving person.
Yes.
But I also see how you are being much more selective with who gets those gifts from you.
Yeah. Now more than
Now
honestly.
more than ever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And like it does take playing defense a bit against the grabby hands that of people that are
Hmm.
used to you acting a certain way and they might still be catching up to you in these changes. But yeah, you reinvesting constantly into yourself also feeds more ability for more people to come into your life that do care. And it is reciprocal and it's fun
Yeah.
and less work, it's like you can just show up.
Oh my gosh. Less headache, less speaking, you know,
And
more
explaining and
doing. Um,
justifying.
yes, I'm all about that action, as my boy Mark Lynch has always said. We are about that action, boss. So,
Yeah,
yes.
beautiful. I'm really proud of you for fighting for that for yourself. You deserve that.
Thank you. I'll try. I try every
Yeah.
day. It's great. I'm great.
Yeah. And I see you doing it. It's powerful.
Yeah. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, how I've healed this, like the blessings to come out of people pleasing, is well, lots of therapy. And what started as therapy for people pleasing and boundaries and just getting into healthier relational dynamics just blossomed into so much more support in so many different areas of my life that I did not have before. Like therapy really kicked off almost like building a powerful support team for myself. I remember in this era of time when I got that amazing therapist in like 2010, 2011, that led to a spiritual mentor. And then that led to a physical trainer. And then that led to like a
Uh,
holistic doctor. And then that led to a chiropractor. And so all of a sudden, all these multidimensional parts of myself all had a support person. And I had never experienced anything close to that. I didn't even know that I deserved that. I didn't know it was possible. And I think that's one of the greatest blessings that my corporate job back in the day allowed
mhm.
me is to be able
Yeah.
to financially support having that support, which, is a whole other conversation too, because I don't believe in having to pay for every little thing when it comes to communal support. But here
Yeah.
we are.
Yes, that's one thing corporate jobs gonna have. They're gonna make sure they take care of you like mentally, even though they are also messing with your mental.
Causing a lot of it. And also, the opportunities may be there, but you have to take them in order to have that happen.
Exactly. It's all about that. Yeah,
It's all about that what?
the effort.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
An investment in yourself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then similar to you, like speaking up, especially when it's uncomfortable, that's such a good practice for me to just keep in touch with myself. Naming the thing rather than talking around it or walking on eggshells together. I literally have such a low tolerance for doing that now when before that was all I knew.
Yeah.
That's also part of what cultivates and creates safety in my relationships. So any of my
Mm-hmm.
close friends know that like I will name the thing like, hey, this happened. It impacted me this way.
Oh, I know. Girl. we've had, we've definitely crossed that bridge. We didn't burn it though, so
No, we
that's
didn't. And it
right.
brought us closer, you know? And I really I believe in that. I believe in we're not taught it, right?
No,
But we don't even know it's possible. But
exactly.
all of this fear from the people pleasing side of things that lied and told me that I will be abandoned if I address the uncomfortable thing, only to find out that when I do, I met with more connection and intimacy in my relationships. And then they continue? They don't end? What? Life changing.
Yeah, yes. It's amazing what you do, what those moments create when you speak up, name the thing, and have those uncomfortable conversations. It's amazing what doors can open when you have mature people. That's very important. Well,
And
that's a whole nother.
accountability and
Yes,
mutual respect. You know,
yes,
there's a lot of groundwork that goes into that ability and a lot of
yes,
trial and error, unfortunately. But man, when you end up with high quality relationships around you, it's
yes,
just amazing what
yes,
becomes possible. It's
exactly.
amazing. It's a huge gift on the end of the journey. Well, the
Yes,
ongoing journey.
the ongoing.
Yeah. So we thought we'd leave you with a couple journal prompts actually to do some reflection around what your relationship to people pleasing is.
If you find yourself people pleasing, what is that distracting you from? Also, are you breaking any family patterns but learning strategies beyond people pleasing?
Yeah. So by breaking through the people pleasing, what are you healing in yourself and therefore your family?
Yeah. Now, this is not a testimony, this is not a journal prompt, but I do have a when I was thinking people pleasing as eldest daughters, I thought about this movie called Soul Food. Have you ever seen it?
I haven't seen it.
Okay. It's just a homework assignment, or if you find yourself in the midst, I think me talking about the family dynamics as well as, death and how the family is after death, as well as the eldest daughter. I think all four of those can help understand more from an eldest daughter standpoint. And I'm just gonna say that if we can talk about it again, but soul food, I don't know where it is. I'm sure it's streaming somewhere. It
Oh,
came
we'll
out
find
in
it.
'90s,
Oh
so
my
it's
God.
somewhere.
I have been obsessed with 90s movies recently, like very obsessed watching
Yeah,
my favorite 90s movies. So this is great.
this caught my attention because of how the eldest daughter had been treated and what she said in there.
Great. It's
Yeah.
like it ties in everything we talked about today.
Yes, so that just is a little sprinkle of,
I love
you
it.
know,
I love it.
something.
If you're listening today, if you have like feedback, curiosities, and especially questions, be sure to email us at eldestdaughterdiaries@proton.me. We'll put it in the show notes. We would love to hear from you when it comes to questions like this. One, because we know there's going to be more people-pleasing related episodes.
Yeah.
It's just part of the eldest daughter journey in these modern times, but also any other topics that you have questions on, whether it's like inspiration for an episode that you would love to hear us jam on or beyond that. We would love to have a section at the end of episodes to answer your questions. So keep them coming. Again, eldestdaughterdiaries@proton.me. We want to hear from you. And in closing, we just want to send you off with some love, some encouragement, some caring words. From me, I just want to say you are worthy of being loved the exact way that you want to be loved.
Oh my gosh. I felt that, honestly. Leaving you with this. You are the only person who can take care of yourself. And you have the ability to do that each and every day. No matter how many times you have to start over, you are opening your eyes and starting over each and every day. And I believe in you.
I second that wholeheartedly. And you gave me chills. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. We love, love, love you, and sending that eldest daughter love, which you know is the best kind, out to you.
Oh.
And we will definitely see you next time.
Peace.
Bye.